everybody. Welcome to another episode of Think Business, where we talk to guests about different aspects of business and how it may apply to your business. So today I've got a good friend of mine, Jody Padar, who is with Botkeeper. She's the radical CPA. And what we want to talk about today is kind of combination of some of the topics we've talked about before, but also related to the CPA industry. And so the topic today is what are the expectations that you as a business owner, as CFO should have of your CPA firm and their use of technology, automation, AI, data, those type of things. So welcome, Jody.
Thanks for having me, John. I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely. So give us a little background. You've certainly got an interesting one. So I know the audience would love to hear about it.
Sure. So I'm the Radical CPA, probably the only branded CPA in the US. I owned my own firm for about 14 years, and then I recently joined Botkeeper to kind of help CPAs go through the transition with machine learning and artificial intelligence. But kind of why I'm radical is because I was that early technology adopter who really realized that by adopting technology, it would fundamentally change how CPAs would work with their customers and the value that CPAs could really provide by becoming digital. And so now it's just fast forwarded from the cloud to artificial intelligence and machine learning. And it's just exciting, right? So that the whole tech space is exciting to me.
So how did this strike you? How did this idea come across to you that, hey, I can use all this technology and create a firm that has real value, growth, good revenue, profitability by using these tools? What kind of initiated that
So
moment in time?
So I was a young mother at the time, and I had left a traditional type of firm, and I had to go find clients. And when I started to find clients, and this was like 14, 15 years ago, the business owners at that time were my age, and they were utilizing new technology as that was the way they were running their business. And we call it the cloud, but back then it was just the internet. And so I started to use those tools, and what I realized is that I would be able to serve them better by utilizing technology, because we could share a lot of the responsibility, but also we would work in real time. And what that did for the business owner who was able to work in real time was it gave them all these insights that they had previously not been able to get. And so and what it realized for me as a CPA, that I could just be that advisor, right? And I could do more advisory work and really help them run their business, as opposed to just kind of getting the financial statements done or the tax returns done. And then, fast forward 15 years, the tech has evolved that much faster and really has positioned CPAs to be in a better spot to really help their clients do more and grow their own businesses. Whereas before we were a lot of times just chasing data, and now that the automation has really helped us there.
Absolutely. So if you take what you learned as putting your CPA firm together and you apply it to businesses, our audience is small and medium-sized businesses generally. And so they all have CPAs. Everybody has a CPA of some type. Most of them are branded boring versus radical. Just kidding out there, guys. But what advice do you have for those businesses and what they should expect their CPA to be able to provide to help them?
So I think they should look for CPAs who are digital first, right? And I think that's really important because there are a lot of CPAs out there. And when you can find a CPA who loves technology, and again, they don't have to know everything about technology, but it has to be part of their practice, and that it's important to them, because that allows them to be better advisors to you as a small business owner. And I always say it's kind of like, you don't want to go to the doctor who's not up to date on the latest technology, right? You want to go to the doctor who is aware of what's happening so that they can give you the best service and the best outcome from a diagnostic. And that's the same way it is with technology and small businesses, because by utilizing technology, that CPA can get uber close to you and work in real time. And that makes a big difference from the ability to give you proactive advisory services and really help you run your business, versus kind of looking backwards and saying, okay, well, this is my report and I got it, a month later or 2 months later. When is it even relevant at that point? So definitely look for those CPAs who are tech forward.
Absolutely. And you touched on a good point, the proactivity versus the reactivity. I know, at Bennett Thrasher, we think the same way, which is why we connected. and that, the old school way of being reactive and closing the books at, within say 30 days after a month end. So now your information is 60 days old in some
Right.
cases, right? So how can you make relevant, quick business decisions on that? So talk a little bit more about that proactivity and what you were able to do with maybe some of your clients that other CPA firms weren't, because they were more in that old school reactive manner.
So one of the things that we always did is we had built-in advisory conversations, right? So when you came into our firm, you not only got your payroll and your taxes and your accounting done, but you were also, I'll say, required to have an advisory conversation at least 4 times a year, because we wanted to be able to give you that proactive advice. And it's really hard to give you proactive advice if you're not talking to your client. And I know sometimes customers don't want to always talk to their CPA, but guess what? It's kind of going to force you to talk, to have that conversation and to really uncover those things that may be going on in your business that you didn't even realize your CPA could help you with, because you just haven't picked up the phone to call them. So, the more you can connect with your CPA, the better they can serve you. And I think sometimes small business owners forget, or they don't want to appear stupid. They don't want to ask those questions, but that's what we're here for. And we like those conversations, and we want to add value. And the only way we can do that is by increasing communication. And when you're using technology together, like, you're looking at the same stuff at the same time, which just makes that communication that much tighter and that much easier, because you're working together in real time.
Well, that's where the value is, I feel, right? I mean, you have the compliance side and you have the advisory side, right? And the compliance side should be very efficient if you're doing the planning side, right? If
Absolutely.
you're thinking about all this and you're planning and you're strategizing and those kind of things, like you said, 4 times a year, then the compliance is just kind of a matter of fact, we'll do this and that kind of stuff, which can maybe reduce that, the price of that, but add tremendous value by the advice that you're providing.
Well, and I think it reduces the stress for the business owner. I think at the end of the day, that's the best part, because when you're that connected to your CPA, they got your back, and that return's going to get done, and there should be no surprises come April 15th. And if there are surprises, what was misaligned, right? And so that to me was like the best part, is just knowing that everybody was on the same page and aligned through the whole year, so that there wasn't a surprise in April. And if it had to go on extension, it went on extension, but it wasn't this big surprise as to, am I going to owe? Am I not going to owe? Where do I stand?
Absolutely. So we talked a little bit about automation, artificial intelligence, data integrity, data exploration, data science, data analytics, whatever you want to call it. This is all works perfectly, and it's all advanced, and there's no issues and those kind of things, right?
Yeah, right. No, it's new, right? It's evolving, and it's exciting because it is evolving, right? It's this new frontier. But like, artificial intelligence, machine learning isn't perfect yet. If you think about your own Netflix account, how many times does Netflix maybe give you the wrong suggestion, right? That's all Netflix is machine learning. But what it does do is it gives your CPA insight into more information, and they're going to be able to help you make better decisions. So that's why I suggest, and I love it when CPAs are proactive and forward thinking with technology, because it means that they're right there seeing how the technology is evolving, and actually too sometimes helping to evolve it to get their small businesses the information they need. So just know that nothing is perfect in data. However, it's getting better. And again, if you look at the Netflix example, think about the way Netflix was when you first started watching it versus today. It's probably pretty smart in the shows that it suggests for you, and that's just the way data is going to be moving forward. So like in 5 years, I mean, it's going to be amazing what the data can do.
If I'm a business owner and I want to have this conversation with my CPA, right? So I'm not an expert in
Right.
automation and AI and all that kind of stuff. Can you help me? Can you help those business owners think about how they would have that conversation with a CPA to if they're either evaluating their current CPA or if they're looking for others? What type of questions can they ask? Those kind of things that can help them kind of bridge the divide and make sure they can get to work with who they need to work with.
So I think it starts with basic technology questions. So like, I don't think you have to be in AI yet, right? But I think a lot of CPAs have it on their radar. But I think the question should be like, are you willing to work with me in the cloud so we can share, financials in real time, right? And there are so many cloud products out there. So there's QuickBooks Online for the low end and zero. There's Intact if you're, mid-sized business. There's NetSuite going up. But if your CPA is still kind of mirrored in QuickBooks Desktop and there's no other alternatives, well, maybe it's time to think differently, right? Because QuickBooks Desktop is fine for some, but there are many clients who can work in real time um, using other software, which is, again, that's the connection to your CPA that's going to make these advisory conversations so much easier. So I would start with just basic cloud GL software and ask them how they feel about it. And again, they don't have to be perfect in it, but they have to be willing to learn how to do it. Because again, if they're not willing to learn, do you want to work with a CPA who's kind of closed on curiosity? Because the world's ever changing, and we really have to be learning and moving forward with the technology as it takes us forward.
Absolutely. I think we're probably getting close to time. So one of the things I want to do is let you talk about Botkeeper for a second. Obviously, that's a big part of your life now, and that's how we met through that
Right.
relationship. And you guys are exploring the AI and the human learning and those kind of things. I think you call it human assisted AI, right?
Right.
And I like that because I'm with you that AI is not perfect and it sometimes needs human intervention. Now, 10 years from now, maybe that's different, but
Right.
today it's where we are. So your model is more of working with CPA firms and being in the background to handle a lot of the data management issues. So it's another product that potentially a client could ask their CPA, hey, have you heard of Botkeeper? Here's kind of so maybe what's your, 15-second elevator speech on giving our
Yeah.
audience an insight into Botkeeper and how that could help both manage cost but as well as provide value in the cloud and with their GL system.
Sure. So Botkeeper is a solution only built for accountants, right? So we want to be that data accelerator for accountants so accountants can do what they do best, right? Like we want to help them get the data in correct, utilizing technology and automation to do that. And then the accountant is going to sit on top of it and give you the proactive advisory advice because we know that that accountant is in the best relationship, right? Tech can't give advice yet. It's not there. And so what we want to do is we want to enable our accounting partners to really serve their small businesses the best. And that is by utilizing technology to the fullest. So that's how Botkeeper actually helps small businesses indirectly through their accounting partners. And if you have an accountant who you're working with who wants to learn more about it, they could reach out to Botkeeper. But otherwise, it's worth it just to be aware of it, right? So like it doesn't have to happen tomorrow, but, as things change, if you realize that, maybe your accountant's not the most forward thinking, maybe it's time to you could actually go to the Botkeeper site and see if there's an accountant there who might fit your needs better.
Well, fortunately, we're one of those CPA firms, so we're excited about our relationship with you guys. And the way I view it is there's a pie, right? And the less you can pay for the grind of transaction processing and those kind of things, which technology helps enable to make that cost effective, the more we can sit down with you for the same amount of wallet share and have those value added conversations and interpret the data for you and help you make decisions. That's the way I tend
Absolutely.
to view the world.
Absolutely. I mean, really, that's where your CPA should be spending their time, helping you make sense of the numbers, not necessarily keep punching them in. And that's where we do our best.
Absolutely. Well, Jody, I really appreciate you being on the show. It's been great getting to know you, and certainly great having a conversation. I know you're all over social. You have a great blog. You have your own podcast, those kind of things. Is there anything you'd like to provide to our audience to know how they can find you?
Sure. So the easiest way to find me is just on LinkedIn, and it's just Jody Padar, and connect to me on LinkedIn. I'm happy to. provide information, because I do talk about lots of things. I talk about stuff for small businesses. I talk about stuff for CPAs. So I'm not too shy. So there's usually something I'm talking about. So feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn.
Absolutely. I know we were trying to come up with our theme and data points. We had a whole variety of things we were talking about, and finally narrowed down to this. So I hope this has been helpful to the audience. But again, thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate it. And it was a great conversation.
Cool. Thank you.
So this is another episode of Think Business. We hope you enjoy the show, and look forward to seeing you on the next episode. And take care and have a great day.